and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Modinomics 3.0 special edition of Market Today, presented to you by ICICI Direct. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, a day after the budget, the markets are still trying to digest the negative news that's come in on the taxes front, the higher taxes on equities, F&O and long-term and STCG as well. You can see about a 50-point downtick on the Nifty right now, 24,434. But we've been seeing a lot of volatility as well. 51,178 right now for the Nifty Bank. That's where the pain point is emerging from. And apart from this, when we look at the kind of moves that we are seeing across the board, private banks are down. You have financial services that are reeling under pressure. Even the FMCG space has now slipped into the red, about 0.5% lower in trade, and the PSU banks are lower. What's still holding up? Broader markets doing much better, especially the small caps. That's up 1.8% higher in trade. It's the consumer durables, oil and gas, realty, pharma and infra space that are showing us some upticks coming in right now. Top movers on the Nifty, well, you do have stocks like NTPC, you have stocks like BPCL, Tech Mahindra, HDFC Life, and also Tata Motors up and about in trade. On the downside, however, the stocks that are not contributing in trade today, Bajaj Finserv, Axis Bank, Tata Consumer Products, Hero Moto, Bajaj Finance and Britannia are the other losers at this point in time. Within the F&O space, it's ICICI Pru, so it's the life insurance space that's definitely garnering some attention. Max Financial Services, ICICI Pru, you have PBR Inox that's rising, IndiaMart Intermesh and United Spirits are some of the other buzzers in trade. But in the broadest market index, you will find a lot of stocks that have found favor in the budget with the respect of customs duty reduction, so a lot of gold and jewelry names that's buzzing. Even the seafood space, like, stocks like Avanti Feeds, Apex Frozen Foods, all of those are also doing well at this point in time, Share.
And Sakshi, you know where the action is? PSUs. 3 20% circuits.
Yeah.
IFCI 83.95, STC and MMTC 20% each. These are the companies that are importing into India, and they are, how should I say, they are canalizing agents. And they import a lot of ore for our companies locally. Therefore, a lot of other companies, Sakshi, you remember that minerals change that has happened, the critical minerals change. So, two companies, NLC India 6.5% higher, 283, and GMDC 416, 4.5% higher. In fact, there are 33 PSU companies which are up between 3.5% and 20%. So, that's where the rally is concentrated, and it's the unusual set of names that are with us. Apart from STC India, MMTC, there is MSTC also, which is up 7%. Again, this is a platform company from the Government of India, one of the cheapest platforms available in terms of valuation. And of course, you have Sakshi mentioned the private insurance space. Actually, the rally is led by LIC, now 5% higher. There are strong gains coming in on manganese ore. Remember, all government ore companies, NMDC, NLC, GMDC, MOIL, manganese ore, as well as Midhani are showing decent upticks. What is also up in the most active list is Avanti Feeds. This is the second most active counter, up 15%, and about 1900 crores worth of transactions have happened. In the housing space, you have a green tick on HUDCO, 1.8% higher, 313, and of course you have stocks such as NTPC moving 3% higher, 394. Needless to say, this is a record high. So, some part of the markets are very enthusiastic after the budget, chiefly in the PSU segment, and there are some parts that are lying absolutely dormant. Nifty is down 35 a day before its monthly expiry tomorrow. Bank Nifty is down 500 points. It was down about 800 points a couple of minutes ago. So, that's how the markets are structured at the moment. Sakshi.
All right, it's time to welcome our guests on the show also. I think we have Mr. Nitin Raheja, the Executive Director at Julius Baer Wealth Advisors, now joining right in on the broadcast. Warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. how are you assessing the impact of the budget on the markets? And where do you think the markets will be headed now that the big event is done and dusted?
Look, I think the budget is, over a period of time has sort of, lost it. It's more like a broader macro policy document which comes about. A lot of the so-called indirect taxation has any which way moved to the GST Council. So there are some tweaks that always happen as far as direct taxation is concerned, but it's more sort of setting the broader direction for where the government's focus is and what it plans to do. So in that sense, if you really look at it, I think it's in line with a lot of expectations that were being set, which was trying to focus on the rural sector, on unemployment, on giving some sops to, ally partnered states, and so on and so forth. So I think that is a broad direction that is clearly taking place. The fact that there is a PSUs have been empowered over the last many years as in terms of the performance, and I think value creation of PSUs has happened over any disinvestment program is also something which is a continuation of what we are seeing happen today. I think that clearly some sort of capital gains tweaking has happened, and that is what has possibly upset the market. In my view, I think when you move long-term capital gains from 10 to 12.5%, I don't think it's substantial. I think clearly the short-term capital gains increase was expected. But people thought that it will happen more in the budget in next year. But it sort of happened earlier, and I think the government wants to capitalize on the point markets that we have currently seeing. I think what we need over a long period of time is a more stability in the regime as far as the direct taxes is concerned, because we've seen a lot of tweaking. We've had on the income tax side, now moved to the new method, and then we've had these changes in capital gains over the last 4 or 5 years. I think the important factor is that we need to see some stability, as we have seen elsewhere, happen and settle down as far as direct taxes is concerned. And that's sort of what has been some sort of a little bit of a concern as far as markets is concerned. I think the government needs to recognize that, while, there has been good money made in capital markets, but, it's a long-term savings instrument, where in the absence of social security existing in India, it's actually the best bet for people to build their wealth and or tackle inflation. And as this young generation over a period of time sort of also gets into retirement age, they will need this buffer. So I think it just does not need to look at as a place where you can keep on taxing and so on and so forth. So I think some sort of stability out there would be welcome as we go ahead. But I think otherwise it's more business as usual. As far as markets are concerned, I think we've seen over many years, unless there's an exceptional budget, it's you do get some short-term volatility in and around budget days, 1 or 2 days here and there. But then it sort of settles down to business as usual, and it really doesn't move the direction of markets as such.
Good afternoon, Mr. Raheja. This is Shail this side. A pleasure to host you, sir, and thank you for sparing your time to speak to us. You are the right person to ask about the interest rate cycle in India, given the glide path that we are seeing on debt management, it being reducing as a percentage of GDP, and of course the better than expected fiscal deficit number that has come in. Of course, this is hostage to what the US Federal Reserve will do, but 6 months from now, 8 months from now, do you see muted interest rates in India, or is that wishful thinking?
Look, I think from where the government and the RBI has been managing the economy, it's very clear that they have decided on the path of fiscal prudence. And that is manifest that, while 5.1 was the earlier targeted number, they've actually used the buoyancy in receipts to sort of bring it down to 4.9. Now, I think that clearly indicates how they look at where they want interest rates to go. So I would not be surprised if in 6 months' time, all things being equal and inflation sort of remaining benign, we do start seeing interest rates getting cut. Right now, I think there is prudence being followed because the RBI governor at various platforms has talked about that how the current rate of interest is actually not hampered growth, and growth has been robust, and how they would yet like to watch whether inflation comes off sustainably before they sort of move on, the interest rate cycle. So I think, but from what we see, there are two things happening here. One is clearly 6 months down the road, we do expect some sort of interest rate cut to happen. The second element, more importantly, is with this fiscal prudence path that is being followed, and more so as we now are entering global bond indices, and we've seen
Right.
inflows happening there, you will see rating agencies look at India more actively. And if we follow this path, there is an upside possible as far as ratings are concerned for India, which again will help in bringing down the cost of funds. So all of this sort of ties in very well because we are on a capex path, we are on an investment path for infrastructure, and we do need lower rates to help us, in that program.
Right. So also wanted to understand from you with the respect of, tackling the FNO volumes with STT that's been introduced in the budget. Do you think the government did this to, curb the excessive speculation that was on in the FNO space?
So, I mean, I think clearly that was one of the thought processes that has gone by. Uh, and it needs to be seen how that works. Uh, I don't, clearly, I mean, this increase in STT will impact the high frequency shops that exist, which run automated trading strategies. Okay. But whether it's going to deter the retail investor from, participating is something that needs to be seen. I think to sort of get the retail interest down, I think you will need a lot other measures, such as, for example, maybe increasing the lot size value for the in the FNO segment, and also maybe access to capital or increasing margin requirements. I think those will be the measures, but that will does not necessarily have to come in the budget. That is something which normally the exchanges or SEBI will come up with uh, going ahead.
Mr. Reja, the other argument on this side is that some sections of the market needed a bit of discipline and prudence. Somehow, the generation that is sub 25 and between 18 and 19 refuses to understand the kind of basic financial uh, education that is necessary, on which the three of us grew up with and that got into markets. So is this a kind of a disciplinary phase that the government is trying to put financial markets through?
I don't think increasing STT is going to do that for the category of investors that you're talking about. Because they very often the realization of this STT taxes comes to you much later when you see over a period of time. But I think the discipline that you talk of. So look, for the greatest period of time, we've been a country where financial savings has been far lower. I mean, it's been restricted to traditional resources such as real estate, gold, fixed deposits. And equity has only just come into the limelight in a big way over the last 4 years post COVID. A lot of factors have driven that, and that has, basically means that it started with the whole ease with which you could open up your, broking account, link it to a bank account, and start a trading account and do that. And that has got to do with the whole digitalization of the economy that we've seen over the last decade. The second element was the fact that COVID created an opportunity for most people whose traders or shopkeepers whose businesses were shut to be able to start up, do something sitting at home. And anybody who sort of invested during the 2021 phase has actually been in the money. And so from that perspective, he looks at this as an asset class which is very, very profitable. Surely, I think the euphoria that we are seeing in the sector is not is something that one needs to be cautious of. You will see corrections that happened. I mean, I don't think we are we are in a market cycle where there's not going to be any correction. We don't know when that will happen, but it will surely happen at some stage. And that's the time, some of them will get hit and hurt. And that's a part of learning that happens for any investor in the market. For this generation, they haven't seen it over the last 3-4 years. It will happen as a market cycle changes at some point of time. But I think the heartening thing is that what this has also done, let's look at the flip side to this, is that it has made us less reliant on foreign investors and has created this whole domestic flow of money into mutual funds and SIPs. And that's made the markets much more resilient. That's lowered the volatility of markets as far as India is concerned. In the previous 3 decades that I know of, every time we had a global event, we would see big sell-offs, and it was not unnatural to see these sell-offs being in the range of 20 to 25%. And in the last couple of years, we have seen what we call as bull market corrections. So in that sense, it made the markets much more resilient than it was earlier. So it has a positive angle. But clearly, the valuations where they stack up today are of concern, and one sort of needs to be very careful, when you are investing. But the larger point is the whole FNO open interest position that has built up, which is a cause for concern because it's never been at these levels, even in the last decade that I've seen.
Right. So also wanted to understand, isn't this an instance of how Prime Minister Modi is showing once again that his government really takes tough, unpopular but necessary decisions?
Well, it's true in that sense, but look, they have taken these sort of decisions in the past also. So I just think the heartening fact is, from the government perspective, the message is very clear. It's, just because it's a coalition government, we haven't seen excessive SOPs or excessive populism take place. It's more of a business-oriented government as such, which looks at how to drive the economy going ahead. The only concern, like I mentioned to you, is from the direct taxpayer group. There has been this frequent changes in rates, and that's sort of not very good if you're looking to widen the tax net.
Right. Mr. Raheja, thank you so much. There is one thought in the market that the government has sort of bitten the bullet in the first year of its third term as far as capital gains tax is concerned. So maybe the next 4 will pass peacefully.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, thank you, Mr. Raheja, for spending your time with us and sharing such wonderful thoughts. We hope that the trajectory of the markets remains as such, and that all our viewers and your customers end up richer and wealthier by the end of 2024.
Thank you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Nitin Raheja. He's the top man at foreign institutional investor Julius Baer. And let's, for a change, look at the markets today. Sakshi, we've been just talking to so many people right through the market, right through the first tick, that we haven't probably paid due attention to Nifty and Bank Nifty. Both of them are sulking, by the way. 87 points down on the Nifty, 24,400 is where the bulls are battling the bears. 51,250 for you as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned, down about 540. If you think that's much too much, it was down about 850 about 2 hours ago. IT is in the green, the broader markets are in the green as far as NSE 500 are concerned, and there is absolutely no stopping the enthusiasm and the rallies that we are seeing in select PSU counters. 3 of them were on 20% circuit. Many of them are up between 3 and 11%. And so actually there's one defense company, unfortunately, whose price we can't show, Pondy Oxides. It's also up 20%. What are you watching?
A whole host of stocks. IDBI Bank is up about 12%. We have stocks like even Sundaram Brakes, that's up by about 13%. We have PTC India Financial Services up 13%. Antony Waste Handling Cell, something that I think Mayuresh has been consistently highlighting, that's up 12% as well. You also have stocks, of course, those agri, fishery stocks, those are the ones that are up, like I've been mentioning. Epigral is up 13% as well. So this entire space is buzzing. Broader markets, there's enough and more to really look at. Let's welcome now our other guest on board to really understand where can one really do the stock picking after the budget. Kush Godasara is now with us, market expert. Kush, good afternoon. Welcome to you and thank you so much for taking the time out. कल और आज के बाजार के डिप में आपने क्या खरीदा?
Definitely, I'm not buying anything. I am just sitting on the sideline. Rather, I have created some short position on Nifty.
अच्छा, और कितना गिरेगा बाजार यहाँ से?
So, मुझे लगता है कि अगर हम 24,500 का अगर लेवल ब्रेक नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो आई थिंक जो 30% करेक्शन जो लास्ट रैली का आता है, that comes to around 22,500.
Okay. Kush, what makes you so, how should I say, aggressive on the short side?
So there are two things. So technically, if we see, last week close on Nifty, we
Yes.
got a evening star pattern. I mean, that's a shooting star pattern. So if at all, this week we close anywhere below 24,300, that's on Friday. Evening star pattern will be confirmed, which is a great reversal sign. And if they are very rare and they never go, they have accuracy of 80%. So I'm taking a early risk. Of course, we need to wait till Friday close. But the way, Bank Nifty is sulking down each and every day, I think
Yes.
IT stocks also are handling up. But if you look at the Nasdaq futures, they are already down by 1.5%. So I think, IT might lose some fees tomorrow and we may see some profit booking. So looking at the weekly charts and, we follow Elliott wave, which is a psychological theory. So as per our, I confirm with my two or three colleagues who also follow the same pattern. We might have ended a short-term bull run on Nifty last week.
Okay, I'm going to record this video and play it back to you exactly 1 week from now. And if we have a downtick, then we come to meet you in Bombay. If we have an uptick, you come and meet us in Delhi.
I'm in Ahmedabad. I'm at
Of course, that's even better. Food in Ahmedabad is far better than food in Mumbai, and food in Delhi is far better than food in Ahmedabad. Either way, we will be partying.
Yes, sure. Welcome.
Okay. Sakshi and I have this hidden map of Delhi's best restaurants, and whoever is the guest who comes to Delhi, we take him or her there.
Rather, Chandni Chowk would be better for us.
क्या बात है, दिल्ली के खाने की चर्चा कहाँ नहीं है, पर वेजिटेरियन खाना मिलेगा, ये बात है.
I am vegetarian.
चांदनी चौक के बराबर में और भी कई ऐसे रेस्टोरेंट हैं जो वेजिटेरियन नहीं है. बहुत लोग चांदनी चौक पहुंच के कहते हैं वहाँ लेके चलो.
जामा मस्जिद. ओके.
अच्छा कुश जी, ये बताइए, निफ्टी नीचे जाएगा तो उसके कुछ स्टॉक भी नीचे जाएंगे. आपने बैंकिंग पर अपनी मोहर लगाई कि वहाँ पर आपको कमज़ोरी आती हुई दिख रही है, और आज बैंक निफ्टी के 12 में से 10 शेयर जो हैं वो लाल निशान में चलते हैं. वीकेस्ट चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर बैंकिंग में किसका है?
मुझे लग रहा है वीकेस्ट जो चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर जिसका बन रहा है अभी वो है एचडीएफसी बैंक. बिकॉज आप देखो तो 2 दिन पहले इट वाज टर्निंग अराउंड रिजल्ट के बाद जो गैप अप हुआ था. बट आज आप देखोगे तो ये वीक के भी लोज ब्रेक हो रहा है और लास्ट वीक के भी काफी लोज ब्रेक हो रहा है. तो आई थिंक एचडीएफसी बैंक एंड एसबीआई ये दो सबसे बड़े कल्प्रिट है. एसबीआई वाज लुकिंग गुड अंटिल यस्टरडे मॉर्निंग, बट जिस हिसाब से आप देखोगे तो आज उसने लास्ट वीक का भी लो ब्रेक किया है, तो वो थोड़ा डरावना है. और सेकेंडली 10 डे एवरेज जो एसबीआई में सपोर्ट चल रहा था सिंस 4 जून, सिर्फ एक ही दिन ब्रेक हुआ था 4 जून को. 5 जून से वापस वो 10 डे एवरेज के ऊपर था, लेकिन आज वापस वो 10 डे के एवरेज के नीचे आया है. So that's why, I'm little bit more curious on SBI and HDFC Bank.
Just imagine, Sakshi, India's largest private sector bank and India's largest bank.
Yeah.
Forget everything.
Yeah.
Are showing weakness. तो कुछ जी ठीक है, मेरे को लगता है हमें ही अहमदाबाद आना पड़ेगा, लेकिन आप दिल्ली आ जाओ तो आपको चेंज ऑफ टेस्ट मिल जाएगा.
डेफिनेटली सर, आ जाऊंगा दिल्ली. अगर निफ्टी क्रैक हुआ तो आई कैन अफोर्ड टू कम डाउन टू दिल्ली.
अरे सर, यू कैन अफोर्ड टू कम डाउन टू दिल्ली वैसे ही.
फ्रॉम दिस प्रॉफिट्स.
No, but why kill the bull run to travel to Delhi is my point. Okay, so two stocks you think are weak, which is HDFC Bank and SBI. Now, how do you describe the strength in NTPC and ONGC?
Definitely, I think NTPC, ONGC, and one more stock, sir, Tata Motors. These three have given a counter trend breakout. So NTPC looks strong. I think the NTPC is breaking new highs above 4th June. So maybe to hedge my positions on a short Nifty, as a disclosure, I have initiated long calls on NTPC and Tata Motors to my clients. So I am shorting Nifty, but on the other side, Tata Motors and NTPC are looking good. We have results of NTPC next week. So with the stop loss of 382, we can buy NTPC in spread with against sell on Nifty.
Kush, after yesterday's announcements on the reduction of customs duties on gold and silver, are you looking at adding any jewelry, gems related stocks to your portfolio?
Definitely Titan was on my radar, but yesterday we closed exactly at the resistance of 200 average on Titan. Today again we are trading below 200 average. In the morning we saw a good breakout, but I am still waiting to have a good confirmation about closing. So if we close about 3500 for Titan for next 2 days, then maybe on Friday I will take a position on Titan for a short term to medium term. So definitely we have seen a good volumes yesterday on Titans on this news. But as a technical, 200-day average is considered to be a crucial pivot level. So we are not able to close about this level since the month of May for Titan. So I'm waiting for a closing about 3500 on Titan for 2 days consecutively. Then maybe I will go long on the third day.
Fair point. And a conclusive close above 200 DMA, especially on a Friday and on a weekly chart, is always very, very helpful. Let's hope Titan does that and the tailwind gets stronger and stronger. Sakshi, let's look at new highs today. Federal Bank 200 rupee Rubicon. Kush ji, क्या कह रहा है आपको Federal Bank?
Definitely Federal Bank charts are looking good as of today. Maybe we have seen good volumes also in the opening minutes. But we are not able to close anywhere above yesterday's high. So for me, closing about yesterday's high is necessary. Yesterday we opened up on Federal Bank around 203, and we have seen a selling pressure. Today also we almost pitched a high around 204. So I think 204, 205 are acting as a strong resistance on Federal Bank. So I won't buy any new position, but existing position, I will hold it with the stop loss of 196, which is a 10-day average.
Okay. While we are at this record high list, I'll just mark a couple of other stocks which are in the same territory. 4% high on Natco Pharma. You have 13 on the screen. Sakshi, there's a sprinkling of pharma companies. Granules India, 537.70, up 2%. Dr. Reddy's, 68.21. It's now down about 1%, but nevertheless it was in a record high territory. You have Glenmark 1430, a third of 1% higher, and Torrent Pharma. So 5 pharma stocks easily available on the eye. Then you have 2 discretionary spending. United Spirits 1379, 3% higher, and of course ITC, which we've discussed, now showing a bit of profit booking, but daily high was 510, now 493. What else is buzzing? Okay, NTPC and Petronet from the PSU stable. So that's the list of new highs post the budget announcement, and the logic is that if there is a new high or a record high at a time when the market is correcting, that is a momentum that you should keep in mind when the market actually starts to go up. it becomes stronger and stronger. Sakshi, 16 minutes to go. What are you watching?
New age internet stocks are buzzing. Nykaa is up 4%. PB Fintech is up 3%. Zomato is up by 2%. Even Paytm is up by about 1.5%. Some of them with huge volumes. Kush, what looks good to you?
I think one of the stock, CDSL looks good to me. Again, a PSU.
CDSL.
Yes, but if you look at the momentum in CDSL, we are almost making a double bottom type of a pattern, and with volumes, we have seen a good breakout today. I think CDSL can be a good buy at current levels. 23.40 can be a stop loss for the short term, and we may see 25.20 in next week.
Okay.
Remember, there's a 1:1 bonus adjustment due on CDSL. So, typically we have seen stocks rally before the record date, and keep that thought in mind, please. This is one of those great multi-baggers from the government stable that has done phenomenally well. And while we are discussing this, I'd also like to mark a company called Protean e-Governance. This is again an NSC company, a record high today. The counters at 1763. Sakshi, up 4.5%. This is listed on the BSC because it's an NSC company.
Okay.
So I don't think so we'll be able to show the price. Sakshi.
Okay, got that. Okay, insurance space, Kush, how are you spotting this buzz? I think it started about 10 days ago before the budget, and it continues even a day after. Both the private insurance companies and the public insurance companies, they are showing upticks in trade today. How do you see the entire space?
Definitely, I think insurance space looks good to me for a long-term investment bet. I think short-term buzz, definitely there is a short-term buzz, but I think HDFC Life can be bought at current levels. Still, we are seeing some momentum in the stock, but one could buy this stock for in the time frame of 2 weeks, not for a BTST or a short-term delivery. I think 700 is on the card. Stop loss can be around 655. So for a 2-week trade, insurance space look good.
Okay, got that. So that's the insurance space. Let's again look at the stocks at 52-week high in trade today. Lots of them. Shell was mentioning some pharma names. I'll add 2 more. Piramal Pharma is up 7%. Alembic Pharma is up 8% as well within that space. These are all at 52-week highs. From the fertilizer pack, it's Deepak Fertilizers making a comeback, 8% higher in trade. We also have, of course, from the insurance that I just indicated, ICICI Pru is at a 52-week high. DOMS Industries, a recently listed stock, that's also at a 52-week high, and MMTC and Avanti Feeds are also in the buzzing stocks list as well. Anything from this list of stocks that looks attractive to you, Kush?
MMTC looks attractive, but definitely we are at the circuit level, so we cannot buy it today. But yes, if we see some correction in coming days, MMTC looks good to me because it has been underperforming. Indicators are quite attractive on a weekly time frame. So if at all, we get an opportunity to buy MMTC around 95, 96, I think one should buy for 6 months time horizon. I think by Diwali we may see around 135.
Okay, got that. CG Power, there's a news coming in. They're going to be buying about a 55% stake for 319 crores in GG Tronics. The stock is in the buzz now. I think it's up 3% after this news flow. CG Power, that's the one that's in focus. This news had come in even earlier, but now they have a confirmation that they're buying a 55% stake for about 319 crores in that space as well. Shell, what else is on your radar?
318, Sakshi, 12 more minutes left. Let's take a detour into the volume space. The reason why I mentioned that is that you have a 62-point downtick on the Nifty. I just want to see if it's accompanied by any volume pressure. It's just a sideways move 1 day ahead of the expiry. So Bajaj Finance, obviously earnings led, therefore you see a very sharp uptick in volume, 3.2 times the higher 5-day average. Counters down 1.7%. Earnings weren't great. Grasim is showing higher volumes, 2.65 times the 5-day average. Again, the counter is 0.5% lower. Now, here is the kicker. Sakshi, you mentioned insurance, right?
Yeah.
Look at HDFC Life, 4% higher. 1.2 crore shares are traded. I haven't seen this kind of a volume for a very, very long time. And again, this is 2.2 times the 5-day average. Okay, Titan 2 times the average. So it's a decent uptick in average that we are seeing. Okay, now let's hit the NSE 500 list. You have HDFC Bank showing a volume of almost 4,750 crores. This is worrisome because Kush mentions the charts getting weaker. Profit booking on Indus Stars 2% lower and very smart volumes 2,500 crores. ICICI Bank down in the red, ITC very nice, very nice. Let's get Kush's view on ITC. 4 crore shares traded, record high Kush, a bit of a profit booking from early morning highs. What are the long term charts of ITC telling you?
Definitely, if you look at the weekly charts, we are seeing good breakout. Breakout was seen at 480 itself. So now 480 on weekly charts would be a good support. So any dip to 480 would be an opportunity to go long on ITC. At current levels, maybe we would wait and watch. As you rightly mentioned, we are seeing some profit booking, and tomorrow we have an expiry. So we may see some sideways movement. So 480 is a good entry level.
Okay, got that. Let's discuss, Kush, within the F&O space, how are you looking at PBR Inox? That's been showing some buzz. Is this momentum here to stay?
I think it's just expiry momentum because in 200-day average, which I consider to be crucial level, it's at 1500, and this level has been acting as strong resistance for PVR since the month of January. So again, I won't buy PVR at this moment, but if we see a close above 1500 for next 2 days, definitely we may go long for the August series, but not as of now.
Okay, got that. Right. Now, let me just discuss with you the entire oil and gas space. Which part of the oil and gas space do you feel that continued momentum could be there? Would it be the upstream makers, ONGC, Oil India? We've seen substantial gains there. Would it be the refineries, MRPL, Chennai Petro and the like? Those stocks have also moved up. Will it be the gas stocks, IGL, MGL, GAIL? Where do you think the bullish trend will continue?
Definitely. Out of all these stocks you mentioned, I think ONGC looks stronger to me. So as per my theory, I think one up move is pending before we turn around. So 332 is a target on the short term of ONGC. So maybe I will take a risk of 5 rupees, that is around 370 stop loss, and we may go for a target of 332 on ONGC for short term.
Okay, in the last 7-8 minutes of trade, let's look at some other structures that are doing pretty well as far as prices are concerned. There is a fresh move coming in sugar, and I just like to highlight one of the most high beta counters, which is Sri Renuka Sugars, 4% higher, 49.5. You have Triveni buzzing 5.8% higher, 414. And you have a strong move coming in on Bajaj Hindustan, 6.6% higher, 41.7. We track 33 sugar companies for you, Sakshi, and you will not believe how many are in the green. Oh, 30 sugar companies are in the green. So that's an interesting thread that is adding that much of mithas to the market at a time when most long term and short term investors are really angry. Anyway, let's look at the Adani pack, which you haven't paid attention to since morning. I want to see what the hydrogen company is doing, and Adani Energy Solutions is up 1.5%, 1039. You have a strong move on Adani Total Gas, 1.2% higher, 890. Let's look at the high beta space. HBL Power, 9% higher, 9.4% higher, 649.5. Tejas Network is buzzing 3.3% higher, 13.14. And of course, you have a strong move coming in on stocks such as Hindustan Zinc, 2% higher, 636 almost. And of course, Sakshi's favorite, Indian Hotels, 1.8% higher, 634.50. 324 Sakshi, what's on your plate?
Tech Mahindra is buzzing in
Yes.
trade. It's 3% higher. It's moved to the second highest spot on the Nifty right now. So within the IT pack, which was sluggish in the mid trade, we are seeing some ticks on the higher side back again, led by Tech Mahindra, of course. Following this is Coforge, L&T Technology Services, Persistent. These are some of the other stocks that are still holding up into the green. They are coming back into the green. Your sense, Kunal, Kush, as far as Tech Mahindra is concerned, and also the entire IT space, do you see strength?
Tech Mahindra.
I think IT. I guess I would book up profits on IT stocks. Uh, I think Nasdaq is trading weak. So overall, I think IT stocks can be a good pocket to have a profit booking. So today, maybe tomorrow morning, we may see some corrections in IT stocks. So I better recommend to book profits on IT stocks.
Okay, got that. So that's the IT space. How about cement? And within that, particularly, we were seeing a whole host of action right ahead of the budget. Do you see continuous momentum on, say, stocks like India Cement, ACC Ambuja, Ultratech, Grasim? The entire space was abuzz with action. Post the budget, of course, the capex has been maintained, but infrastructure progress is likely to continue to take place. Your top favorite cement stock that one can continue to look at?
Definitely, I'm still, I have Abuja Cement on my watch list, but since last 6 sessions, we are making high around at the same level of 685. So if at all we trigger above 685, then I will go long on Abuja Cement. Otherwise, I think all the cement stocks will be in a time-wise correction, that is consolidation. So avoid trading unless we see some upside breakout.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, just 3 minutes left for the market to call it a day on Wednesday. Thank you so much, Kush, for being with us, and we'll wait for the Nifty to crack or for it to go higher to meet you at Delhi and take you on a food tour in our lovely city. Again, thank you so much for your views on SBI and HDFC Bank in particular. Let's hope the best happens for markets and for the general investor as such. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start wrapping it up. F&O first, strong gains across the board in private insurers as well as public ones. The top gaining stock in the F&O space is ICICI Pru, 8.5% higher, 691.45. You have a strong move coming in on Max Financial Services, 6.3% higher, PVR INOX 6% higher, MCX up 4%, and of course United Spirit Futures in great spirits, 4.5% higher, 1387. What's slipped in trade? It's Bandhan Bank down 4%, profit booking in Godrej Consumer Products down 3.8%, 1455. Profit booking again in Dabur 3% lower, Emphasis 2.2% lower, and Bajaj Finserv 2.2% down. These are the futures that are trading in the red. What else is showing interesting? Sakshi, for tomorrow I'll keep an eye out on Voltas, only because very high open interest, and then we'll be tracking the rollover data for Friday, because tomorrow is the end of account for the July F&O series. Very exciting ones. We've seen the aftermath of the national elections, and we've seen the full rally for the pre-budget run-up, and of course the aftermath as well. Sakshi, what's on your plate?
Well, we'll just try to wrap up the market, and of course, we'll be looking at this insurance move, whether this continues even tomorrow as well. HDFC Life is now today leading with the gains, 4.3% higher. SBI Life follows now, about 3% higher in trade. ICICI Pru Life is the top mover in the F&O space again today. So this, and of course, LIC is a buzz too. The entire space is a buzz with action. So we'll see how much more steam is left in the insurance space as well. The good part is that we are off the lowest point of the day as far as the Nifty is concerned, down just about 38 odd points, 24,432 in trade right now. We have the small caps, mid caps, oil and gas, consumer durables, realty, pharma, infra, all inching higher into the trade. Top movers, we've already discussed life insurance majors. Then we also have Tech Mahindra, BPCL, NTPC and Tata Motors and ONGC, of course. These are the top movers on the Nifty. On the lower end, Bajaj Twins, Bajaj Finserv especially, Britannia, Tata Consumer Products, Axis Bank and HUL are the top tracks. We'll leave you at that. 40 points lower tick on the Nifty, viewers, and another day of consolidation right after the budget. But will we have enough strength to bounce back soon this week or next week is something that we'll continue to track for you. So stay tuned on Business Today, and beyond the market hours, we will continue to show you some earnings conversations as well. Stay tuned.